Robservations with Meyer Burnett.
This comes from Alex. Alex says, "Hey Rob, I discovered you through the John Campea show about a year and a half ago while searching for clips about the latest Spider-Man movie, Far From Home. I liked your personality and opinions, and I found out you had your own channel, which I now follow pretty religiously. I like it when people take their time and discuss different topics in a laid-back, analytic fashion, while also injecting just the right amount of passion, energy, and emotion. Because what the heck? Ultimately, that's the driving force behind all of us. As a kid growing up in Bucharest, Romania, we never really had comic books. You may know that we were a communist country until 1989, so there was a limited supply of Western culture available here. We had some American movies, the tentpole productions, some TV shows like Dallas, Mannix, and Bewitched, but as the 1980s rolled on, we only had 2 hours of TV a day. So we basically had no content to consume. VHS tapes started coming here in the 90s, but at the time it was pretty expensive for the average guy. Comic books never really existed here. But I was born in 1995, so I had it easier. I loved Batman as a kid because there were some cartoons of it on TV and also the Michael Keaton movies. I had no idea who Spider-Man was until the year 2000, when Fox Kids and Cartoon Network became available, and I got to watch Spider-Man, the animated series from the 90s. I've loved movies all my life, and though I'm 26 now, I think I've seen over 600. Sure, that's probably nothing compared to your numbers, but for me it's something I'm somewhat proud of. Strangely enough, however, for a guy my age, I mostly appreciate older movies. I don't try and be a hipster or appear interesting, I just enjoy them more. Don't get me wrong, I watch new movies all the time, and before this pandemic happened, I used to go to the cinema 20 or 30 times a year, last time in March of 2020 when I saw Onward. But most current movies I just consider meh, too politically correct and desperate to appeal to everyone. Fine to watch once in a movie theater, but very few that will stand the test of time. And so my personal top 3 movies would be Sunset Boulevard, Some Like It Hot, and Casablanca, which I've seen over 20 times. Amen, Alex. Which also introduces my question to you. I've rarely seen you talk about Billy Wilder and his work on your show. What's your opinion of him? I think he's ridiculously underrated. Ask most people today who he was, and they will have no clue. Repeat the question, but replace Wilder with Alfred Hitchcock, and everyone has seen 1 or 2 movies of his. How is that? Anyway, thanks for everything you do. I know you probably hear this a lot, but your channel and work make a positive difference in the lives of many who, for 1 or 2 hours a day, get to evade all that's going on in their lives and focus on nicer, more pleasant things. Lots of appreciation, Alex. Well, Alex, what a nice letter to receive. Thank you for that. By the way, I don't know Alex. I didn't make Alex write this letter, but it's certainly appreciated. So, Billy Wilder, one of the greatest film directors and also writers of all time. And we've seen a lot, of course, of his films. Now, you know, he was Austrian-born. He was born in 1906. But let me go back through here and let's talk about some of Billy Wilder's movies. Now, a lot of them I have not seen, but some of them we talked about on Whining About Movies, like Double Indemnity, which is, if you haven't seen Double Indemnity, it's one of the greatest of the film noirs ever made, which he did a lot of. Now, it's funny because Double Indemnity was, he wrote Double Indemnity and directed Double Indemnity. And I'm going to go through some of my favorite Billy Wilder movies that I love. Now, Double Indemnity is from 1944, but I'm just going to go through. I mean, like, he started writing movies in 1929. Now, these are movies that he wrote as a writer. The Bad Seed was one of them. Ninotchka, which is a great movie. Double Indemnity, The Lost Weekend, A Foreign Affair, A Song is Born, not A Star is Born, but A Song is Born. Sunset Boulevard, Ace in the Hole, Stalag 17, Sabrina, The 7-Year Itch, The Spirit of St. Louis, Witness for the Prosecution, Some Like It Hot. I already said that, didn't I? Oh no, Some Like It Hot. And The Apartment, Ocean's 11, but he was uncredited. Irma La Deuce. I mean, guy's amazing. The Private Life of Sherlock Holmes. And that was Christopher Lee was in that movie. But as a director, he directed movies up till 1981 where he directed Buddy Buddy. His movies in the 70s were not so good. But and I think The Private Life of Sherlock Holmes was the last movie he made that I loved. But if you go and you look at his movies that he directed, Double Indemnity, The Lost Weekend, A Foreign Affair, Sunset Boulevard, Ace in the Hole, Stalag 17, Sabrina, The 7-Year Itch, Spirit of St. Louis, Some Like It Hot, Witness for the Prosecution, The Apartment are all movies that I own. So I'm a huge fan. I think Billy Wilder is one of the most talented writer-directors of the time. Joseph Mankiewicz is another favorite of mine who wrote All About Eve. So yes, I'm a huge, huge fan of Billy Wilder. There's still a lot we can all learn. By the way, I love hearing that as someone in their mid-20s that these are your favorite movies. And I think I know why. Because the thing is, while older movies are not necessarily as cinematic as new films in terms of, technique, cinematography, direction, they're much more literary than the movies that we get today. And if you like characters and words and you like you talked about Sunset Boulevard and Casablanca. I mean, these are some of the great screenplays ever written, and so I think that that's one of the reasons that you love these movies. And Sunset Boulevard and Some Like It Hot, in terms of character development, humor, and black humor. In the case of a dark humor. I don't want to be considered a racist. What would you call it? I mean, somebody will get mad at me for saying, I think, we know what black comedy is, and it's not a Spike Lee joint. I'm talking about Sunset Boulevard, Dr. Strangelove, things like that. But Sunset Boulevard and Some Like It Hot are hilariously funny. Sunset Boulevard is dark. Sunset Boulevard is also a tremendous look at Hollywood and what it does to people. And Casablanca is one of the great movies, one of the great stories. I mean, in a way, Casablanca is kind of Shakespearean. I think it'll stand the test of time forever.